There was a National Banking Act passed in 1863, which of course was during probably the peak of the Civil War. He had made a statement. He said, "I see in the near future a crisis approaching that unnerves me and causes me to tremble for the safety of my country. Corporations have been enthroned. An era of corruption in high places will follow, and the money power of the country will endeavor to prolong its reign by working on the prejudices of the people until the wealth is aggregated in a few hands and the republic is destroyed." Well, certainly couldn't possibly have even dreamed how accurate that was. So I'll give you a few more moments to write out your questions. Then I will pick those up and we'll bring Ron back then as soon as he's had a chance to look over your questions.
Yeah, I can take the first one here. You get going on this. How would I vote in a Technate? Well, the first thing that you want to understand when it comes to the system of government that Technocracy has proposed is that now you'll be living in a completely different environment altogether. What is the purpose or what is the function of government today? Mostly it's to protect the rights of money, to keep people separated from one another so that we don't have the whole country run by a bunch of robber barons, which basically we do anyhow because the bad guys have bought out the good guys and they're running the show from behind the scenes, if not up front. In a technocracy, you would no longer have money. Well, what the heck is money anyhow? It's the control mechanism. How do you round up an army and get it to stand out in front of people and shoot at people maybe who they know who are their neighbors? By paying them a lot. Money is the control mechanism. How do you think that the corporations get as much control as they do and have the amount of control and say that they do over our government? By providing money. Money is the control mechanism. What is it that controls all of our lives, for the most part? What do we do 8 hours a day? We work for money. If money is no longer there, the control mechanism is gone. The only reason anybody, if people have the right to have a living that they desire without any problems, then they can simply go into a store and get what it is that they need. You no longer have any control over them, do you? So what does that require? It requires a government or a governance, put it more accurately, of a completely different order than what we've had before. We don't need a cop standing there telling us, guarding the people who have the money from those who don't. The only thing that we really need to do is to operate the machines that are providing us with our standard of living. And make sure that they keep running. Make sure that the lights stay on. Make sure that the doors stay open. That's all we need to do. So what you need to do to operate that, you want the most functionally capable people that you can in those positions. Why? For the same reason that the passengers of an airline don't get together before the thing takes off and elect the pilot. I just got done flying on an airplane. I don't care who that guy was up there, as long as he knows what he's doing. I don't care what color he is. I don't care anything about his religion or his politics or anything, so long as he gets me up and down again in one piece. That's all that matters to me. If the electricity stopped running on it, if say the power went out here, how many of you here would know how to go out and start it up again in the substation? Close the breakers and everything else. How many of you would even know who to call? You just hope to God that whoever those guys are, they get there quick and get it done. So what you want is a functional governance. You don't want a bunch of people who are elected. If they put it in front of you, who should be elected to operate the electric system? who would you know to put down? You'd probably make about it as informed a choice as you do right now for the politicians that you elect. And probably with much more disastrous results. So what Technocracy proposed was a functional governance. The people who are in charge of the system now are the ones who you want keeping running the thing. The people who know what they're doing are the people who you want in there. Now, there could be occasions where there are questions, say, of national import that people would have to ask. Well, how would you go about that, for instance? How could that be done? In about the same way that it is right now. Why do you think, for instance, Mr. Bill Clinton hasn't already sent 14 million troops or whatever into Bosnia? Why? Because they took a poll and found out that most people were opposed to it. Now, in the next 10 years, we're going to have a tremendous increase in electronic interconnection. Everyone will have, or anybody who wants it, will probably have a television connection in their home that will be a two-way connection. Could you run a nationwide poll of everybody in the whole country who had an interest in the topic? Yeah. Could it be tabulated by supercomputers just like that? Yeah. So how would you vote into Technate? A lot better than you do now, and you probably have instant results, and you wouldn't be voting on the things that you don't want to vote on, the things that are required to keep you alive. When you go into the doctor to have when you go in to the hospital for surgery, do you care anything about the politics of your doctor? Do you care if he runs around with 3 women at the same time? Hell no! All you care about is he knows what he's doing! And that's what you want. What is the potential that natural gas will not be able to supply the shortfall in oil energy as oil continues to decline? Well, it's about the same chances as just about everything else. It's natural resources, and natural resources run out when you use them up. It isn't going to work. The only way that we can supply energy is with what are referred to today as renewable resources. Technocracy proposed one plan there something like 60 years ago. It's a good one. There's plenty of other things. Much to my surprise, wind power now seems to be coming very up. Wind power is roughly comparable in terms of financial cost, in terms of price system money, to about equal to coal. And with the new technologies that are coming up, with the new drivetrain technologies, with adding ailerons to the propellers, and wingtip brakes and stuff like that, it'll go down even lower. It won't supply all the power, but it'll supply quite a bit if you fully develop the resources. Geothermal power out here on the West Coast has tremendous potential. And now, with the new binary technologies, there's absolutely no waste at all that goes into the air. The hot material that comes up out of the ground that actually heats and runs the system, once they've taken the heat out of it, they pump it right straight back into the ground. So there's nothing at all that comes out to the atmosphere, not a thing. There are plenty of others too. Solar technology is coming up very fast. It's got a ways to go yet, but it's getting there. Now, if whatever it is that you have is a natural resource, when people first came over to this country, they figured the total number of trees in this country is absolutely unlimited, totally without bound. What are we finding now? We're just about out of it. And if you don't think so, take an airplane ride on a clear day over the Northwest and take a look down. You'd be somewhat horrified, I'm sure, to see what there is. What you see is gigantic patches that have been stripped completely bare. Why? Because we have a technology today that can just absolutely strip it out. The lumber industry has said, oh, the reason why we're having to lay off so many people is because of spotted owl. and because of all these environmentalists won't let us cut trees. You know what happens when you